February 13th, 2024, regular scheduled Fort Clint City Council meeting in the Linda Hart Lob Council Chambers, City Hall. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silent reflection for those serving and protecting our country. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. May be seated. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Beth Gilman. Present. Margaret Phillips.
Present.
Richard Morgan.
Present.
Kelly Gangle.
Right here.
Pat Hovis.
Present.
Jared Trolley.
Present.
Kathy Kane.
Here. Thank you. Council, you previously received the January 23, 2024 regular meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Madam President, I move to accept and approve the minutes of the January 23rd meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Trolley, any discussion? I have a motion by Ms. Phillips, seconded by Mr. Trolley to approve the January 23, 2024 regular meeting minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. The minutes are approved. The chair notes that certification has been made regarding compliance with the rules and notifications of this meeting. This evening we have Mr. Norgard from the Fort Clint Lighthouse Conservancy.
Thank you. I'm Rich Norgard, President of the Fort Clint Lighthouse Conservancy, here to present my annual report to the council and also my check. And Mr. Buelow, you're going to get this, I understand.
I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Okay. So this is something I do every year for the new folks. I want to begin by briefly noting the loss of founding board member Alex Thomas, who passed away last year. We also lost two docents and volunteers, Dave Mowry and Roger Smith. And then some of you knew Roger in particular. They contributed to the success of our efforts in ways too numerous to mention here. They will be missed. The health of the Conservancy is good. The total amount of our various liquid accounts is roughly $55,000, and our rainy day fund, which is reserved for emergencies, as we had discussed with the city back when we set this up, has now grown to $50,000. Our revenue stream is derived primarily from annual memberships, which that's basically our keepers of the lighthouse, and various donors. As of the end of 2023, we had 243 regular charter and lifetime members, and in addition to our generous donors, from the sale of merchandise in the boathouse online and from our various merchant partners, that contributed an additional $9,234. Our top selling item, new this year, is the Lighthouse Passport Book. So the U.S. Lighthouse Society, which is the honcho for all this stuff, issues a Lighthouse Passport Book. And what you do is you go around to all the lighthouses and you stamp your book. And we have to stamp for our lighthouse, and that has now become the popular item. Our major expenses are related to maintenance, and that's primarily maintenance of the lighthouse and boathouse, as well as groundskeeping and landscaping. Preserving a 127-year-old wooden structure is constantly exposed to the elements, and it was designed to exist this long, presents a continuing challenge, and that is our primary concern and job. During 2023, we added electrical service to the boathouse and to the adjacent antique rustic light pole outside the boathouse. Other future enhancements that we anticipate are hopefully in the next year or two, as we talk to the city about this, the paving of the Washington Street parking lot, which is part of the big ongoing infrastructure project. And we hope to also get a live camera, a live stream from the lighthouse at some point, and that's something we're working on with the police department. Finally, we continue to study solutions for improving accessibility in the walkway on the east side of the pond. And as you know, because that's a wetland, we can't pave it, so it's just gravel. But there are more permanent solutions that are all very expensive. And so we're still looking at options on what to do with that. Interest in the artistic and historical significance of lighthouses has soared among the general public. Lighthouse aficionados routinely travel across the country and beyond to visit these wonderful structures, and many have made Port Clinton a travel destination to visit our lighthouse. Since the return of the light on our shores, the number of requests for tours from travel groups and private parties has steadily increased. For instance, this summer, the U.S. Lighthouse Society will be hosting a tour of Northern Ohio lighthouses, with our lighthouse being one of the last stops on the tour. That's just one example. And again, the fact that the aforementioned passport book has become our bestseller is a further indication that basically lighthouse tourism is becoming a thing, and it's bringing people. We are proud to be able to display our one-of-a-kind lighthouse to the public. Our volunteer docents conducted 341 tours in 2023. 212 were paid tours, which brought in $876. We also conducted more than 100 unrecorded free tours for keepers, special groups, or individuals. Anyone 10 and under that comes, and if they're tall enough to get in the lighthouse, those tours are free. Our 5th annual Lighthouse and Maritime Festival on August 19th was our most successful yet. It continues to grow each year, and we're indebted to the Greater Port Clinton Area Arts Council for collaborating with us in this effort. While we're not, and likely will never be on a commercial scale for the Walleye Festival, BC will provide a welcome niche in the panoply of summer activities in town. We're proud of the Conservancy's work to maintain our historic lighthouse and surrounding area, which has become a community gathering place and focal point that has enhanced the quality of life in Port Clinton. We will continue to look for ways to enhance the lighthouse area and the visitor experience. And with that, thank you.
Mr. Norgard, it's beautiful out there, just absolutely gorgeous. But we've experienced quite a bit of vandalism in those new restaurants. Are you seeing any to the lighthouse?
We have nothing to do with the restaurant.
No, I know, but it's in the same area, but.
Are you asking if you see vandalism in other?
Yeah, to your lighthouse or the
No, that
boathouse?
seems to be specific to
The restaurant.
the restaurant. I don't know why people target restaurants.
Yeah, it's weird. I just wondered, since they're doing that, I wondered if they messed with you guys.
I know it drives the city crazy,
Nuts, but-
and I don't know what the answer to that is.
Thank you.
Yeah, fortunately, that's not,
Exactly.
that hasn't carried over
Knock on
into
wood.
our structures, so hope it stays that way.
Thank you.
I have a question, and maybe you said this, but I missed it. When is it open, just, not to tours, but just to people?
Saturday's Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Okay, just a Saturday.
Yeah, and until we get more docents, we just can't afford to have it open anymore.
No, I understand.
days. But we're very liberal on, if somebody has a group and they want a tour and they call us up, we'll provide a tour.
That works.
So we're pretty good that way.
All right.
I neglected to mention that we also are always doing talks, informational talks at the library and on to various local groups on request to give them the history of the lighthouse and other aspects of local maritime history. So we're always happy to provide those.
One thing other people may not know, because I didn't know, you talked about your members, you have lifetime charter and normal members.
Right.
So like I can join and it's by year?
Yeah, different categories of keepers from like a basic $20 membership on up.
Okay, cool.
So,
Right.
And so with that, I'd like to present our check, and this is the way this works is, basically, there's a long-term lease. The city has a lease from the state for the larger area that the lighthouse sits on, and then we have subleased an area directly around the lighthouse from the city. And so each of those is $1, so we pay basically $2 rent each year. And so it's a little presentation that we do. So I'm going to present this to Mr. Velo. Thank you.
Good.
You want to make sure we sign it?
Yeah.
Watermark.
If you don't mind, I'll leave.
Sure. Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any public comment?
Yes. Michelle Gogoric, 217 Oak Street.
Hello, as she said, my name is Michelle Gregoric. I'm here on behalf of the Port Clinton Artist Club. They've been gathering for over 67 years now. I kind of think it's the longest club group. I know it's in Northwest Ohio, but I'm not sure how big that goes. But what we've started is a committee for public art. They've been great stewards of the money that we've earned through our Arts in the Park. It's held at Lakeview Park every year. You know, we just thought that for a city that has an art club that's been in all this time, we'd like to see more art up Port Clinton. One of the things I'm going to do, I talked to the mayor, and then he put me in touch with Nicole at Main Street, Port Clinton, was we are going to paint the barricades that will that block the street in the summer. You know, we know there's about 11 of them. We're going to get some ideas from club members. Maybe work with the schools a little bit, because they will need to be painted on site. So, you know, to kind of make a big deal of that. If you have any ideas, because, and I wanted to know if the district, and I'm not sure who would know this, if the district has a logo or anything like that. I kind of see that one barricade would at least give what the name of this project is. But so there's a lot of little crazy thoughts. So if something pops into your mind, reach out to me, please. You know, or if you have an idea of what, because there are 11 of them, I understand. Is that right, sir? I think 11 barricades. Front and back, all sorts of fun things are going to go on with that. So we're really excited about that. But the other thing that came to our attention in the meeting was, and if I could, if you could pass it around, that's kind of what prompted us. And that is putting up easels that plein air artists would use. They thought of putting one down somewhere around the lighthouse, of course. Maybe along the Portage River, anywhere in Waterworks Park. That's something we've looked at, how we would make them. Scott Hitchings can make them for us and this sort of thing. But I'm just not sure of what we would run up against as far as putting them in different areas of the city. You know, we do have a really strong plein air group, and they're called the group, excuse me, that meets here. And so, you know, we kind of get their input too. But I'm going to be looking at that sort of information too, where we can put these. So I just wanted to stop in, put that little bug in your ear, let you know what we're doing, what we'd like to see, you know, a little more in the city. I know that survey was put out, and the mayor had said to me, you know, we're waiting for, you know, results of the survey and that sort of thing. But we were really excited to see that public art was included in that survey. My favorite thing to say is, let's art it up. You know, we have so many. I've only been here about 5 years now. I am amazed at the amount of artists that live around here. We have so many artists that we could get a bit more of that in the community. And that was it. So I'll let you know what we're up to. Thank you. Yeah, Beth.
We have a committee, we meet, not after this council meeting, but after the next one on the 27th, immediately following the council meeting. Would you be willing to come to that? There's a couple art projects we're discussing.
Of course.
One is potentially painting something, that's a whole other project we've got going on. But that would be the place maybe to come and talk to us and we can discuss some things.
And when are you meeting again next?
After the next council meeting, so anywhere between 6:30 and 7, the 4th Tuesday of every month.
4th Tuesday. Sure will.
Yeah, because that's, we do talk about art in there, and we have a couple things we're working on. There was a project we mentioned last year and didn't get too much on it, but maybe this could tie into it. So
Wonderful,
I think
yes.
that'd be a good place for it.
See you then. Yeah, thanks. Anything else? Hi.
Yeah, Michelle, you're representing the artist
Club.
club. Because people get that and the arts council mixed up. Can you explain to us the difference?
Our council is a 501c3, which makes a lot of difference for them as far as bringing in funds. Port Clinton, our club is just a club. I mean,
You are just artists, whereas the arts council supports arts, they're not all necessarily artists.
correct.
Do I have that correct?
Correct,
Okay.
correct. And there are a lot of members in our club that are not necessarily artists, but the main thing we do is offer workshops every month. And so they're learning, you know, and you're just being around artists, you know, you learn from them. So, yeah, not everyone is artists. My biggest thing is like, I make bags, I do fabric, I mess with fabric. And every time they talk about art, they're talking about a painting.
Now,
You know,
art
so
comes in-
now
art
we're
comes in lots of forms,
starting
yeah.
to, we're starting to expand a little bit, but the main thing the club does is the workshops every month, and then the Arts in the Park, which is huge for us. And the Art Council is to support all the arts in the community.
Thank you, I just wanted to get that straight, because people,
I know.
they get them
yeah.
all mixed up, and I get them mixed up.
Right,
So I
right.
should know better.
No, that's a big difference.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else?
Well, thank you.
Thanks for your time, thank you.
Thank you.
Jerry Harden, 711 West Lake Shore Drive.
Hello, my name is Jerry Harden, I'm at Admiralty Condos on Lake Shore. I'm here to ask about the project of, I guess, the wall that they're going to put in along the lake to help keep the road from erosion. We haven't heard anything about it in the condos. North Coast hasn't said anything to us or the other condo associations. And what I have saw as far as the proposal goes, really is going to affect property values along Lake Shore Drive. And I'm just wondering, is there any type of public meeting before this is all approved and let out the bids? What other,
When the plans get totally given back to us, we probably would suggest you come in and talk to Doug Nusser and myself.
Okay.
You have not talked to Doug yet, I'm assuming?
I have not.
There's been others from your condo that have been in here to talk to them.
Okay,
So that's exactly how I would do it. Once we have the plans, we can show you exactly.
okay. Is it possible for you guys to maybe put out something to North Coast so they distribute it to the condo association?
When we get to that point, yes.
Okay.
We are not to that point.
Okay. So nothing's set in stone yet?
No, I wouldn't say set in stone. There's a pretty good concept that's maybe a little bit of tweaking, yes.
Yeah, because what I read, you know, is a 4-foot wall, which is basically going to wipe out all the view from the first 4 people.
Come in and talk about it. We can show you some detail of that and the slope and everything else.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay. Move on to executive officers' reports. Council, this evening, we have first reading of ordinance 2-24. That has been assigned to the finance committee, and administration has asked that that be passed on its second reading. I'm sure Mr. Bureau will discuss that more fully during his time. Also, ordinance 3-24 is new, that is not assigned to a committee, and it can go to its full 3 reads. That is all I have this evening.
I've got it. I've got Mr.
The mayor's
Snyder's
not with
report.
us this evening, he is flipping pancakes.
He said he had 25 pages and mine's down to 3. So
Oh, that's
on
good.
my print. So that's where we're at. And he said just what you said, Mrs. Sardi. He's probably covered in pancake batter and flipping pancakes is what he said at the Shrove at St. John's Church. So flip update. It's important to remember that flip is not just one project. It's in fact approximately a dozen projects with many times more funding sources. Yes, the 2 biggest components are Plan A and Plan B. These 2 phases seem to get the most attention as there are an enormous amount of money attached to them, will have the highest impact on the citizens. Therefore, when we as elected officials are asked, when is FLIP going to get started, we often focus our answer on Plan A and B. I know I do. The reality is FLIP has already started. Multiple engineered plans have been drawn up, reviewed, and approved by various funding sources. Funding applications have been submitted, reviewed, and dollars allocated towards specific actions. Bi-weekly project update meetings are underway with the city and engineering firm at Kleinfelder, which we have every other Tuesday, to ensure the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. And most importantly, next Wednesday is the first RFQ for FLIP should be released. The RFQ will be specifically for the Lakeshore Crosswalk phase for the one by Mr. Ed's crosswalk out there. And then, of course, it has your name, Mr. Trolley. Before you ask, the dozen or so projects are FLIP are obviously Plan A 2, Plan B 2. Along with those, you know, the 4 streets in there, 7th Street, they're all into that particular project. Then, of course, you have Perry and Monroe, AKA the 5 Points, and West Perry and Harrison, AKA the Art District area. That's basically been separated out. The Lakeshore Drive revetment that he was asking about, that's separated out into its standalone type project. And the Lakeshore Drive crosswalk. So those are the projects that are going on there, okay? We've had some problems. I'll read what he says. The Lakeview Park Pavilion has experienced repeated vandalism. Most recently on February 5th, several overhead doors and windows as well as a man door on the west side were damaged beyond repair. Despite cameras and law enforcement have been unable to identify all the suspects, we've caught some and we've taken them to court. If you, you know, we have those there so you can pull them down with wind and rain. So with the overwhelming cost to replace, we're going to remove them. We're going to take them out, and you'll have the structure above. We still have the cameras, but we are going to take it out. We're exploring seasonal options to help the users with some kind of blockage for wind and rain in that particular time. It's sad, and I heard you guys talking earlier about the bathrooms. That was a problem. That hasn't gotten to this, but we have actually taken a couple to court, and they were found guilty for breaking it. So we did catch some of them, but some of them we did not.
Congratulations.
So that's it. He's got 3 good news stories involving our first responders. Approximately 1:15 on Wednesday, February 7th, a family on East 2nd here in PC was awoken by the chirp of the carbon monoxide detector. PC Fire and Rescue went to the scene. The home was evacuated and fire personnel entered in. Shortly after entering, an issue was discovered with the furnace. The local HVAC company was called at 2 a.m. with an emergency request for service. Had there not been a CO detector in their home, fire officials believe there's a very good chance the residents would not have survived the night. Bottom line is, if your home uses natural gas, get a CO detector installed. On the afternoon of Friday, February 9th, the EMS was called a condo on Lakeshore Drive for an unresponsive male. An off-duty EMT was in the area, responded to the scene, and immediately began CPR. A few moments later, 911 duty ambulance and others from Fire and Rescue provided additional assistance. I'm pleased to report the patient has revived. I was talking to the ambulance crew as they carried him down to the 3rd floor condo to the ambulance to transport to Magruder. So hats off to them. And the week before last, the PC K-9 unit was called for mutual aid at Perkins Township to assist in a traffic stop. Aldo hit on the car. It turned out to find 1 pound of meth in the car. So he did his job. So that's quite a large consumption there from that. So the last thing is the recreational plan we've been talking about and was brought up earlier. The next meeting for that is February 26th at 7 p.m. at TAG. Monday, February 26th, 7 p.m. at TAG. Mr. Beal, correct me, there's a survey that will be out very shortly again, survey number 2. So if you guys get a chance, please get on that survey and take that survey again. I can probably answer some questions off of this if anybody has questions from the mayor's report.
No.
I mean, I guess I'll ask it because Jerry didn't, but like, I mean, the major Plan A and Plan B, like.
Still in USDA's hands. That's
okay.
It's the same difference. The lawyers are more involved, I believe, and Mr. Bulow can attest to that. We've been on all the phone calls. The lawyers are in charge of when it's going to be released. We obviously have the funding, but they have to do all, dot the i's, cross the t's.
Is this a very strange project for them to take such a long time to approve? Because of so many multiple fundings?
Jerry, it's a very complicated project.
Right.
It's the biggest one the city has ever done. We've gotten more grant money than we could ever anticipate for these projects.
And that's making things
And
a little bit more.
when you have these projects, you're dealing with ODOT and all these funding sources.
Right.
They all have their rules and regulations. It's not a good answer, but it's the answer. Okay, the answer is that all these funding sources have their own things that you have to jump through hoops to get to that point. And that's where we're at. USDA has to see all the projects that are gonna be conglomerated at the end to give us what, $28 million in grants and, you know, all that stuff. They have to see all that stuff. And their lawyers have to make sure that they believe that we're good and all the stuff is right and moving forward. So that's where it's at. And God bless USDA for giving us that kind of money. I mean, we don't get that kind of grant money very often, that high of a number. Usually it's all in loans. So I think it's great. It is frustrating. I totally respect and understand that. But this project, you know, it started in COVID too, if you remember, when we were going for all these fundings, and that slowed it down. Then we started getting more funding sources. We told you that it would take longer because of the funding sources. And so that's kind of where we're at. So, yep.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Well, she asked, but yes, ma'am. And yes, sir, to you too. So. That'll do it for me too then tonight.
Thanks, sir.
It's enough talking.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bealow.
Thank you, Madam President. Council before you tonight for its first reading is Ordinance 2, which includes, which provides appropriations for the full year of fiscal year 2024. I'll just make a couple comments, but I look forward to discussing it with the Finance Committee when the meeting is set. There is the balance of the unused American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA funds, that the city has used the past 2 years. Dollars need to be obligated by the end of this calendar year, so we look forward to working with council to come up with recommendations on how best to utilize those one-time funds within the deadline, which is December 31st of this year. There are also some other changes that may stand out to you in there, but small, in my opinion, and look forward to discussing that with members of the Finance Committee and anybody who wants to talk about it. So please pass that by the end of by the end of February, when the temporary budget expires. I'm happy to answer any questions about that
Mr. Beal?
or anything else. Yes, sir.
On the Rescue Plan Act, are there new guidelines for what we can spend that money on, or is it the same as it's been 3 years, 4 years?
The most recent update is held true, which is, as opposed to just being designated for addressing the public health emergency or water sewer projects or emergency services, there's a catch-all given the amount of dollars we receive, which is just over $600,000, that it's open for any form of government expenditure that the city would normally expend money towards. So the criteria is open for what's an eligible expense, and that has remained since, I think it was early last year.
So probably call it.
Hypothetical? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. I was gonna say I would probably call us and have that discussion, but that's up to you.
Okay, never mind then.
Anybody else have any questions? Treasurer.
Yeah, so far this year on our bed tax, we've collected $9,113.43, and the dock tax, we have one early payer at $25. And I'd like to read the inaugural disclosure of our rental registrations, and we have $1,200 from those so far. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions? Mr. Brenner. Law Director.
Nothing tonight, Madam President, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brisbane, you have anything?
I do. So I've been conducting an IT assessment for the city kind of writ large, council included. I've almost completed that for everybody at the city. And that's to inventory all the hardware that we have, also to inventory software programs that are utilized by different departments, trying to assess what's necessary, what's not necessary, and better understand what we have and what we use. The reason behind that is that we're planning on upgrading a few things at the city. The firewall needs to be upgraded for cybersecurity concerns, and the server that we're using now is outdated and too small, so it will need to be replaced. We would also be adding some software tools that would allow the city to be more efficient, share information a little bit more easily. There's a lot of benefits to that I can discuss with anybody that'd like to discuss that later. So that's all done really well. I would ask City Council, those of you that still do have a laptop, if you could bring those in. We would like to maintain inventory of those here at City Hall and then deploy them as needed. But that way we kind of maintain positive control on any of our cyber security vulnerable assets. The only other thing is the website, the new website, we're still in process. We've submitted initial surveys and pictures and information to revise. I was in contact with them today. We should be scheduling our kickoff meeting for February 20th. Still waiting to get confirmation back on them for that, so when I do, I'll share that information. That's it. Unless there's any questions.
Any questions? Yeah, we'll move on to committee reports. Finance Committee, Mrs. Hovis.
Ms. Phillips, are you gonna be having a committee meeting at the next council meeting?
No. No, we're holding all of those off until we're given a project to do, so that second meeting of the month is open before, after, or after.
Mr. Belo, would it work to have the finance committee meeting for you at before the next council meeting?
And the date is, oh, I'm sorry.
The 27th.
The 27th, I'm unfortunately out of town and connected a flight to be back home. And I'll also miss the Recreation Amenities Open House too, so I'm
The
bothered.
20th work
Mostly
for
by
you?
missing your meeting more than missing the park improvement meeting. So the week prior would be ideal.
The 20th
Preferred, yes.
at 6 o'clock? Does that work for you?
The 20th?
The 20th at 6.
Yes, ma'am.
So Finance Committee will meet Tuesday, February 20th, here at 6 o'clock to discuss ordinance 2-24.
Thank you.
Thank you. Environment and Public Works, Mr. Jolie.
Nothing at this moment, but if it changes, I will make necessary notifications.
Okay. Safety Services, Ms. Phillips.
Nothing at the present time.
Thank you. Economic and Community Development, Ms. Gill.
We will have a meeting after the next council meeting on the 27th.
Okay.
Mrs. Sardi?
Yes.
Excuse me. Sandy, I just wanted to check with you on the 20th, the council chambers is taken with the conference room. You might want to meet in Mr. Belo's office. That meeting's still there?
We don't know if that date is still good or not.
Got you,
That's
understand
still-
that.
Auditor's office is available to host anything.
I'm just saying, the council chambers you have on here for the
Right, we
park
do, but
district.
that's because it's not been,
Understand.
you may need to meet another room.
Okay, I just wanted to bring that up. You're fine. I just wanted to let you know that. Thank you.
I don't offer pizza parties like the mayor does,
What?
but it's still a good time.
Okay. Move on to correspondence. Under correspondence, we have the Planning Commission, December 14, 2023 meeting minutes. Fort Clinton Police Department, 2023 annual report. Architectural Review Board, November 9, 2023 meeting minutes. Planning Commission, January 25, 2024 meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the correspondence?
Madam President, I move for an acceptance of all the correspondence.
Okay. Okay, discussion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion? Questions?
Question. Mr. Holston, so I was reading the planning commission meeting minutes from January, and they were talking about the Foundation for the Habitat for Humanity.
Yes, ma'am.
Was that discussed at the February 8th meeting as well, and kind of what is the update on that?
I was not at that meeting,
You read
February 8th.
Yes, you.
Yeah, the last meeting. Excuse me.
You were, I know you weren't in the ones with the minutes, but I'm talking about the one.
The last meeting I
yeah.
was at, I thought you were talking about the minutes, my
No,
apologies.
No, I just wonder what the update was. Where we-
They did not approve the variance.
Okay.
That's it. Any further discussion? Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Phillips, seconded by Mr. Troy to approve the correspondence. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Correspondence are approved. We'll move on to readings of ordinance and resolution. Under third readings, we have resolution 24-1. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only, resolution 24-1.
Resolution 24-1, a resolution authorizing sale of personal property by internet auction.
Thank you. Do I have a motion, or does council wish to take any action as to resolution 24-1?
Madam President,
Mr. Troy.
make a motion that we adopt resolution 24-1.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Hovis. Any discussion? I have a motion by Mr. Troy, second by Mrs. Hovis, to adopt resolution 24-1. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Richard Morgan?
Yes.
Kelly Gangle? Yes. Pat Hovis?
Yes.
Kathy King?
Yes.
Jerry Torley?
Yes.
Beth Gilman?
Yes.
Margaret Phillips?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. Resolution 24-1 is hereby adopted. Move on to second readings. Will the clerk please read by title and summary only, ordinance 1-24.
Ordinance number 1-24, an ordinance authorizing and directing the Director of Safety and Service to prepare and submit applications as may be required for planning, design, and construction phases of the water meter replacement improvements, elevated water tank basis improvements, wastewater treatment plant pump and heat air exchange unit improvements, Laurel Avenue reconstruction, sanitary sewer, and storm sewer improvements, lead service line inventory and lead service line replacement infrastructure improvements to the Ohio Water Development Authority, AWDA, Ohio Environmental Protection Agency, AEPA, Ohio Department of Development, ODOD, Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, Water Pollution Control Loan Fund, WPCLF, Water Supply Revolving Loan Account, WSRLA, and any other funding sources or programs that become available, and to execute application documents for the funding sources as required, and to execute contracts for planning, design, and construction phases, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 1-24 this evening? Seeing none, ordinance 1-24 will move to its third reading at the next regular scheduled council meeting on February 27th, 2024. We'll move on to first readings. Will the clerk please read by title and summary only, ordinance 2-24.
Ordinance number 2-24, an ordinance making appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Port Clinton, County of Ottawa, State of Ohio, during fiscal year ending on December 31st, 2024.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 2-24? Seeing none, ordinance 2-24 we move to its second reading at the next regular scheduled council meeting on February 27th, 2024. So the clerk, please read by title and summary only, ordinance 3-24.
Ordinance number 3-24, an ordinance authorizing and directing the Director of Safety and Service to advertise for bids and enter into a contract for the construction of the State Route 163, 24.9 Signal and Walk Project, and to advertise for qualifications and enter into a contract for construction management services for the project and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 3-24? Seeing none, ordinance 3-24 we move to its second reading at the next regular scheduled council meeting on February 27th, 2024. We'll move on to business from the floor. Mrs. Hovis.
Good night, Madam President. Oh, congratulations on your grandbaby.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Mr. Drolling.
Just congratulations to the Emergency Services Fire Department for the 3 responses. You got a heck of a department, and also congratulations, Grandma. That's all.
Thank you. Mrs. Kane.
I third both the congratulations, Grandma. I second that our safety services are fantastic, and I just want to say this community is wonderful. And I can't say it anymore because I'll cry, but I just want to say Port Clinton is a wonderful town with a lot of wonderful people in it.
And you're one of them.
Thank you.
Mr. Morgan?
Well, I'm temporarily disabled, but I've been on crutches and scooters for a couple days now, and you look at things different there, and you see things that other people, when they're walking, they don't understand. So in the next 8 to 12 weeks, if I see things that the city can help with, not that you'll have money, but I'll let you know.
Okay.
I ran into one already and I think we got it covered though, so.
Okay, well, that's good. Mrs. Gangle?
Can't believe not one person here said Happy Valentine's Day.
I was there the whole week
Happy
of me tomorrow.
Valentine's Day, everyone. That's it.
Ms. Phillips?
Thank you, Madam President. Ms. Gangle, did you by any chance bring us some cookies? Valentine's Day?
I should be probably cooking.
I'm
expecting
I have
The
not
mayor's
heard-
not here.
I've not heard too much from anybody. They seem to be happy, and when they do start complaining, they say, well, I understand, though, I've complained for years, but it looks like we're finally getting somewhere. And I say, that's what we're doing. You gotta be patient.
Well, you're lucky.
People are nice to me. But that's it. I just think that things are coming along very slowly, and it'll be nice when it's not snowing like it was this afternoon.
Thank you. Mrs. Gilman?
Thank you, Madam President. Not everybody is nice to me. When they have complaints, I do direct them to the city, ask them to contact the city. I don't know if they follow through, but that's a great resource. The city's always been quick to answer things. Maybe it's not the answer you like, but they've always helped me get answers for people. They've been on the spot when I have issues. They've gone out in person. So I appreciate the support from administration, and anytime I have a question, they are on it. Speaking of the residents, before COVID, we used to have ward meetings. 2 of us had meetings around the city, let the public just come and talk about whatever they wanted to talk about. It's not really, there's no set agenda. It's an open, informal meeting. Mr. Trolley and I will be hosting the first of these meetings next Wednesday, the 21st, at the library from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. We'd like to do them the third Wednesday of every month and in the ward at the West End Park Pavilion somewhere. I like it in my work because I'm starting this. Anybody else is welcome to do it. But again, it's just 2 of us. We're not violating anything. I did run it through Dina, the law director, and let the president and council know. I'll start pushing that out and then let Sandy know formally. But again, the 21st will be our first one, just an hour. If anybody wants to talk about whatever they want to talk.
So other council people are welcome.
Not to participate,
Right,
sure,
right.
sure. But, and
Would you
again,
rather we not come?
right. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. Maybe it'll just be us. I mean,
But just a watch.
we probably just the 2 of us. Maybe we want to keep it legal. We don't want to violate anything.
Okay,
and we
that's
just
fine.
want to
That's why I
have it.
asked.
We would violate the sunshine law.
Yes,
All
but
right,
you are welcome to have your own meeting, set it
Okay.
up, run it by Dina, President Council, the appropriate channels.
This is
And
why I asked these things.
so, but we'll get it going. Hopefully somebody comes. You never know. Typically, it just depends what's going on. So, but that's it. Nothing else, Madam President.
Wrap it up.
Did you bring Valentine's cookies?
Pancake food.
Or pancakes?
Look at here.
You can smell my shirt if you'd like to.
Nothing else, Madam President.
Mrs. Sardi, I was gonna tell you, but I'll just say it out loud. Derek and Kayla had a little baby boy. Brooks Thomas, yesterday. Congratulations to them. So we're in the same boat again. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no further business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam President, I move this August body adjourn.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you. I have a motion by Ms. Phillips, second by Mr. Foley to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Thank you. We're adjourned.